Erich Hartmann, the world's greatest flying ace. What kind of man racks up 352 aerial victories, stares death down more than 1,000 times, and walks away from war a legend? Not a Hollywood hero or a comic book character, but a real man named Erich Hartmann. In the chaos-churned skies over the Eastern Front, one blonde-haired German pilot became the Grim Reaper of the Luftwaffe, so feared that Soviet pilots were ordered to avoid combat if they saw a single black tulip painted on the nose of a Messerschmitt Bf 109. This isn't a tale of glory. It's a story of obsession, survival, and the burden of being the best. Erich Hartmann was just a boy when he first saw a biplane ripple through the air above while in Schonbuch, a small town in southern Germany. Born in 1922 to a doctor and a strong-willed mother who was a pilot herself, Hartmann grew up on wind, speed, and ambition. But flying wasn't sport anymore when war came. At 18, Hartmann joined the Luftwaffe. He was quiet, disciplined, almost too cautious. Other cadets mocked his hesitations. But instructors saw something else, something dangerous. A relentless eye for detail. A killer's patience. In October 1942, at just 20 years old, Hartmann was posted to the Eastern Front. That's when the legend began. The Russian front was not a battlefield, it was hell with propellers. Frozen air tore at flesh. Engines choked. Bullets didn't kill clean, they shredded. Hartmann's first mission was a disaster. He broke formation, got separated, ran out of fuel, and crash-landed. The Luftwaffe should have sent him home. But they didn't. Under the mentorship of seasoned aces like Walter Krapinski, Hartmann learned the truth of aerial war. It wasn't about aggression, it was about calculation. He refined a tactic called hit and run. Wait high above, choose one target, dive fast, fire once, disappear. One shot. One kill. And it worked. Victory after victory, his kill count ticked higher. 20 kills. 50. 100. Soviet pilots began to notice the black tulip, the symbol Hartmann painted on his plane's nose. Rumors spread. That tulip meant death. By 1944, Hartmann's name was whispered with fear across Red Army airfields. He wasn't just a pilot anymore. He was a ghost. Hartmann didn't roar into battle. He waited like a hawk. Sometimes hours. Sometimes days. He was obsessed with the perfect kill. While others scattered bullets into chaos, he focused on the engine, the heart of the plane. He once downed 5 Soviet fighters in a single day, without taking a single hit. But with every victory, the weight grew heavier. Each kill had a name, a face. And then came the turning point. August 1944. He faced a massive Soviet bombing formation over Romania. Hundreds of aircraft. A wall of death. Hartmann led his squadron up from the south. His Messerschmitt screamed into the clouds. Boom. One bomber fell. Boom. Another. Boom. A fighter spiraled in flames. But then, flak tore through his fuselage. Hartmann's plane caught fire. Smoke filled the cockpit. He crashed behind enemy lines. Captured. For 3 days, he was interrogated, tortured, then loaded onto a transport truck. But Hartmann wasn't done. Under cover of night, he overpowered a guard, stole a horse, and rode through enemy territory for 2 days until he reached friendly lines. When he returned to base, burned, limping, and bloodied, the entire airfield went silent. Then they erupted in cheers. He wasn't just alive. He was unstoppable. By 1945, Hartmann had shot down over 300 enemy planes, more than anyone in history. But his hands shook at night. Not from fear. From memory. One afternoon, after claiming his 301st kill, Hartmann climbed down from his fighter, walked into a nearby hangar, and vomited. A mechanic found him sitting on the ground, head in hands. "Do you know what it feels like," Hartmann whispered, "to be good at killing?" His superiors wanted to turn him into a propaganda god. Posters, radio, newsreels. But Hartmann refused. He didn't smile for the cameras. He didn't give speeches. He was no Nazi. He flew for his comrades. For survival. Not for Hitler. Then came Germany's final collapse. The war was lost. The Reich crumbled. And the Soviets were coming. May 8, 1945. The war ended with a whisper. Hartmann, still wearing his black Tulip, surrendered to American forces, but was handed over to the Soviets. They knew exactly who he was. Black Devil, they called him. They offered him freedom if he trained their pilots. He refused. Again and again. So they locked him away. Siberia. Hard labor camps. Starvation. 10 years. 10 brutal, soul-breaking years. But Hartmann never broke. In 1955, after intense negotiations by West Germany, he was released. Emaciated, scarred, and forgotten. Yet he stood tall. Years later, he helped build the new West German Air Force, the Bundesluftwaffe, and trained a new generation of pilots. But he never forgot the faces. The kills. The sky. In 1980, decades after his last mission, Hartmann returned to the skies in a private aircraft. An old pilot friend sat beside him. They soared over the Alps, crisp white peaks beneath. He turned, smiled. "I still see them sometimes," he said. "The ones I didn't save. The ones I sent falling." His friend asked, "Do you regret it?" Hartmann stared out the window for a long time. "I regret war. But not flying. Never flying." The clouds curled like memories, soft, endless, unreachable. That same year, the Soviet Union officially erased his name from all combat records. To them, he was a phantom, a ghost that had humiliated their finest. But legends don't die in silence. In the aviation world, Hartmann became a symbol of unmatched skill, discipline, and sheer will. A pilot whose name lives longer than the countries he flew for. When he died in 1993, aged 71, his funeral drew officers, aces, cadets, and historians from all sides of the old war. Even a former Soviet general sent flowers, red tulips. No one ever surpassed his record. No one ever matched his kill count. And no one ever painted a black tulip again. Erich Hartmann wasn't just the greatest flying ace in history. He was a man caught in the engine of war, pulled by duty, pushed by talent, haunted by his success. He didn't fly for glory. He flew because he had to. And in doing so, he etched his name into the heavens. In a world where fire fell from the sky and heroes were forged in cockpits, Hartmann was the last to blink, the last to fall, the last ace standing. He soared. He survived. He endured. And high above the clouds, his legend still flies.